Hey gang, at this point in your lessons, if you followed along through the 6 video clips that I gave out before, you should be somewhat comfortable in terms of editing with some video in Premiere. This is kind of a primer for your lab. I didn't want to do this originally, but I figured I'd give you a little head start. So what you're about to see is just the introduction to the lab. You're going to have to go ahead and create some other pieces to it, but this will give you a good idea of what this lab entails and kind of hopefully set you off on the right course. But in the end, your video should look differently than mine. So I've got Premiere open. I'm going to open up a new project, and I'm going to call it LePage underscore surf. And you probably will want to call it something similar. I know the instructions tell you to name it something like surf cuts or something like that. Here are the preferences. Let me pull up the lab itself. You're basically creating the surf video. It says create a new Premiere. Surf cuts, I guess, is what I had originally intended for you to name it. Again, the name really doesn't matter because the process is this. We're going to create the video. Then we're going to export it out, put it on the desktop, and then we're going to upload it to YouTube. I'm not sure if all of you knew that, but you all have a YouTube account associated with your British Academy mail account. So it makes it nice and easy. Once you post it up to your YouTube account, you will now be published at that point. And what you're going to do is create a link from that video, and you're going to post the link to Edmodo in order to be able to turn it in. So there you go. There's your whole workflow. I'll be putting together some videos. This one obviously will make the video, and then another one will show you how to initialize your YouTube account and then post it up into the YouTube account. So we got a lot of work to do. So hopefully you're strapped into your seat there real quick. So I look at the first bullet on the lab, and it's talking about creating a Premiere project, naming it Surf Cuts using the DVNTSC standard 48 kilohertz setting. So I'm going to flip back to Premiere. You're going to see here the presets. You want to make sure you're in DVNTSC and standard 48 kilohertz. Don't worry so much about the sequence name because that'll never push out on your final video. So I click OK. And it sets up my brand new Premiere project. You'll notice typically when we'd worked in the past, you had some videos and assets already installed for you. Part of what we got to do in this lab is, if I flip it back, navigate to the Lab 1 folder and import both the Surf Audio and Surf Video assets folders. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to double click on the project window. And here's the import dialog box. I am going to move over to all of your Surf videos are found on, should be on your desktop in the Premiere Assets folder. Mine's set up just a little bit different. Mine's in the Multimedia Lessons. You'll see a folder called Surf Labs. Double click that. And what we want to do is going to be a little bit different. Typically we would go into these folders and upload all of the videos that are associated with it. But if you go into Surf Video, you'll notice there's quite a few video clips in here. So what I'm going to do is, instead of going one by one importing these things into Premiere, I'm going to go back. There's a button I'm not sure that you recognized was on there on the import dialog box, but there's this button called Import Folder down below. So instead of going into each video one by one, I'm just going to click on the video and say, click on the folder, and I'm just going to say Import Folder. And it'll take a few seconds. It'll give you this error message. There's a file in that Surf Video folder that creates previews of these videos, so it's called DS Store. Don't worry about it. You will not need that file. So I click OK. And if I turn the arrow down, you will see all of the videos that just got imported. So the next step, a little tricky, we got to go get our audio. And before you do that, I want to make sure that you do one thing, because this confused me the first time I did this. I imported one piece in a folder, and then I imported the other piece, and it didn't list out here. And what I found out was, you see how Surf Video is highlighted? I want to make sure that's not highlighted in my next import function. Because if it is, and I go ahead and I import, whatever I import is going to be found in the Surf Video bin, as opposed to being in its own bin out in the project window. So I'm going to click off on the Surf Video, make sure nothing is highlighted in the project, and then double click in the blank space again. I'm going to go back to Surf Labs. I'm going to click on the Surf Audio bin, and then I'm going to say Import Folder. And again, that DS Store is in that folder as well. So I have two separate bins. One has all my video clips. The other has all of my audio clips. Should be good to go from this point. Let me check the lab. Video assets folder in your browser. They should import as folders. I'm doing well so far. I hope you are too. Create a bin named storyboard and copy the following video tracks into the bin. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to create the new bin. Call it storyboard. And I'm going to double click on it. Set that up here. You're gonna see multiple screens from me just so that I can see the lab as well as the bin. Let me slide the bin over a little bit more just so I can determine which videos I need. So I got a whole list of videos here. So let's go down through. We need wide shot. We need a board shot. So I'm going to click on board shots. And I'm also going to, let me minimize this whole Premiere window. That way I can keep both windows up at the same time. Let me close that down too so I can, again, this is kind of like a little mini lesson in rearranging your windows too here. So we got board shots. Do I still have it? Yes, I do. Focus pulls. I'm holding the control key. I'm going to select multiple ones of these. I need what? I need 2 interviews, so I'm going to pick 2 and 3. I need pelicans and seagulls. Pelicans. Holding the control key every time I pick one. Seagull 2. Suiting up, paddling out. Suiting up. Paddling out, where are you? In the P's. Paddling out. 2 interviews, 3 surfing clips, which are down here in the surf. So grab this one, and this one. And what else do we need here? Oh, I forgot wide shot. Need wide shot down there. It was the first one. Wide shot. Let me just check on Word here. Oh, one slow-mo getting out and walking up the beach. So going to walking up the beach. A slow-mo. Any one of them. And getting out is the last one I need. Getting out. All right, so I got my list. I'm going to minimize that and kind of expand Premiere again. So I have all of those highlighted. And then what I'm going to do is, if you remember what we did in the first lessons, we copied those video clips. Then I went double click on storyboard and I pasted them into my storyboard folder. Then I went ahead to organize these things. I changed the view to icon and the thumbnails to large so we can see them. All right. So you see all the pieces involved here. And here's where I'm going to go ahead and make my story. I can move these clips wherever I want. This is where you're going to have to get a little creative on yours. Make sure yours doesn't look entirely like mine. So I'm just going to move these out. Slow-mo, we're going to pull slow-mo up there. We're going to say walking up the beach is after getting out. The wide shot we're going to use as our first shot, setting the scene. Then we're going to see him getting out. Then some focus pulls, walking around the beach, suiting up. We're going to we'll pull the interview in first. Got to suit up before you can paddle out. And let's pull the pelicans up there. Give it a little more flair. We'll show a pelican seagull as he's getting out to go surf. We'll do another interview with the 2 girls and some surfing, some slow-mo, and then he gets out of the water. So I'm good to go there. I am going to highlight. I need to put these all in the timeline now, so I'm going to highlight all of them. Shift click. And there's a button down below. You should know it, called Automate to Sequence. I go ahead and click on that. You want to set up the pieces the same way I've got them. Make sure you put both video and audio in there, and you do not want any default audio or video transitions. Make sure your clip overlap is 0 frames. You don't want any overlapping on these clips, and I click OK. And I'm good to go. I go down into my timeline in Premiere, and you'll notice that all of my stuff is in there. So I got a story going. So far, so good. I've got all these clips in. Now I've got to look. So I'm down here, automate. So I'm good to go. Use the EDL below to make the shots to the following clips in the timeline. So board shots, I need an out point at 620. So I'm going to go back to Premiere, and I'll just show you a couple of edits here, and you can figure out the rest. I'm going to double click on board shots. It's going to open up my clip in the source panel. And what I need an out point at 620. So I'm going to push this over. You'll hear it scrub. I'm actually, 622, not bad. I'm going to use my arrow keys, go back 620. And I just need an out point, which is this one. Or you can hit O on the keyboard for your keyboard shortcuts. But I'm going to push the button. Out point. And so that looks good. The minute I do that, you'll see it'll update in the timeline. So I'm going to get rid of that ripple delete. I'm going to delete that piece. Squash my movie. Let me do one more that's got some input in points and out points. Focus pulls. In point at 820, out point at 1417. So here's the focus pulls video. I'm going to double click that. So once I got focus pulls up here in the source panel, I need to put an in point at 820 and an out point at 1417. So I'm going to go into the time, 820, in point, 1417, out point. Very quick edit. You'll see I've got some ripple deleting to do down here, so I'm good there. I'm going to ripple delete the back end as well as the front end. So you get the idea on these clips, and you'll notice I kind of leave it wide open on some of these pieces. Any interview piece that answers one question about surfing, you've got the suiting up, only having an out point, so on and so forth. You get the idea. So go ahead and make these edits on this EDL. And then this other piece, audio overlay. We want to capture the audio of a question being answered in your other interview and replace an audio track of another video clip. That's called an L cut. And I created a video on how to do an L cut within the book. So you might want to check out video 6 of the cuts only piece that I had done. So if you're not understanding how to do this, go ahead and go back to that piece, and I'll show you how to do that within Premiere. How to use audio from one clip on top of a video of another. Then the next piece, use either audio track, which is either one of these surf audios. You're going to make a montage, which is clip to clip to clip of people surfing, and you're going to have some music behind it. So once again, you're going to have to play with some audio features there. We want to export the movie to a QuickTime file and use the H.264. I'll show you that in a quick second. The final movie should be no more than 3 minutes in length. So in order to kind of show you the export, I'm going to just quickly get rid of a couple of these scenes here. And I'll make a short movie that I can export. Let me highlight all of these. And just delete those out. So I'm looking at well, actually I'm at 2 minutes too, so let me get rid of that one. So here's a short little movie. I'm ready to export it out. Once you're done your movie, I say export, media. And you'll get the screen. You want the format to be H.264, which in essence is a compressed QuickTime movie, believe it or not, if you're familiar with QuickTime. I know it says QuickTime here, but the 264 is a much better compression ratio. That's a whole class in and of itself, but just make sure you're on the format H.264, preset NTSC DV high quality. That's fine. Actually, you know what? Let's lower the quality here a little bit as well. We will go to, let's go to YouTube here. Let's go to YouTube widescreen SD, which is standard definition. Oh, what happened there? Let me check here. What was the NTSC? Yeah, okay, so we're fine. We'll go to YouTube widescreen SD. This will make it a smaller movie. Export video, export audio. And you're saying, okay, usually you ask the question when you export something, what do you want to name it and where do you want it to go? A little tough here in Premiere. Don't worry about the bottom half of the screen. There's all kinds of stuff you can mess around with here, but don't mess with anything there. We've got this sequence 01.mp4. That's kind of where you're going to answer those questions. You'll notice it's a link. So if I click on it, here's that familiar dialog box, which is asking you, what do you want to call this movie and where do you want to put it? So we're going to call it LePage Surf. And for now, I'm going to put mine right on the desktop. You'll notice it's going to come out as an MP4. So I'm good there. So it types in LePage Surf. We're good to go, and I export. Let's see how long this takes. Oh, not bad at all. I'll come back when it's done. All right, looks like it's exported. Let me minimize. Let's see what it looks like here. The page surf. It's a QuickTime, definitely a QuickTime video. I'm kind of concerned about the YouTube function, the widescreen, seeing what it looks like here. Let's see. And here comes my big show. You do want to go through your video once it's exported just to make sure it runs, because the YouTube upload will be a little tough if the video is actually not running. Turn it off. Oh, sorry about the volume there. A little bit of surf cutting. Okay, so it looks pretty good. LePage Surf looks good. Keep in mind, yours is not going to look like that. Yours is going to be a lot longer, and the export will be a lot longer too. So bear with it. It's going to take some time, but let me kind of show you the pieces of the final video that I had created. Okay, as I play this video, let me turn this down a little bit. You'll see what I mean about all the pieces. This was my completed video that I did the first time around. So we got some surf shots. These are just cuts only. Fast forward here, some seagulls and pelicans. Got an interview.
Like if they're all coming down at once.
Like, wow.
Today's a good day, but it's too cold.
Today's a good day, but it's too cold to surf. So, suiting up. I keep going forward. Here's the piece I was talking about, and this is kind of what I wanted to let you hear. There's an interview going on behind, but you're actually seeing the video of a guy swimming out. So that's that L cut I was talking about, where you're going to use an interview piece. Here's the music. My montage. So it goes through the whole montage. You still got the audio. And again, my total video is 2 minutes 38 seconds, so I'm good. You'll get this link as well to use this as an example, but that's it pretty much. I've got my, let me get rid of this. I've got my LePage Surf on my desktop. I am ready to upload this to YouTube, and I'll show you a YouTube video in a quick sec.